Breaking news right now. State Attorney Amira Fox says a detective who shot and killed this man inside of a home was justified despite investigators not finding a gun. Hello again, I'm Amanda Hall.
And I'm Russ McCaskey. On December 1st of 2023, Cynthia Jordan called 911 and told Fort Myers police that her brother, Christopher Jordan, threatened her with a gun. And while at the scene, police say that they gave Christopher Jordan multiple instructions until one detective says they saw a gun and fired one shot from his rifle, hitting and killing Christopher Jordan. Well, today we have team coverage with reaction from Jordan's family and the Fort Myers Police Department.
We start our team coverage with Wink News anchor Claire Gauld, who was at the home where this happened on Stella Street. Claire, you just spoke to Christopher Jordan's brother. What did he have to say?
Amanda, Christopher Jordan's brother, Angelo Roof, told me his brother deserved justice, and today he did not get it. Roof told me he is devastated that State Attorney Amira Fox found the officer did nothing wrong when he opened fire and shot and killed his brother. But Roof told me this is what he expected. He said Fox has proven time and time again she does not care about justice, and that is what hurts the most.
Sad. You know, for my brother to go out like that, it's a sad day.
Why are you not going to give up?
Because they're going to do it again.
We guarantee.
They're going to do it again.
They're going to do it again.
What did your brother mean to you?
He was my baby brother. Mean a lot. You know, for him to go out like that wasn't right.
If he was here today, what would you tell him?
I'd tell him I love him.
Ruth told me he would also tell him that the fight for justice is far from over. In fact, it is just getting started. Ruth told me he, along with the NAACP, has put his faith into the Justice Department. They also plan to protest in front of the state attorney's office next week. I'm live on Stella Street. Claire Gault, Wink News.
Claire, thanks. Moving our team coverage forward now. If you're just joining us, State Attorney Amira Fox says a detective who shot and killed Christopher Jordan inside of his Stella Street home that you see here was justified despite investigators not finding a gun. Wink News reporter Liz Byro was in the room when Fox delivered this news, and she joins us now live. So Liz, who is the key witness in this decision?
Russ, the state attorney said Cynthia Jordan is the most important witness. She claimed in her call to 911 to officers on the scene and in interviews hours after the shooting that her brother had a gun. No gun was found on Jordan or inside the home. Now, the legal review of this officer-involved shooting says officers responded to Stella Street December 1st, 9 minutes after Cynthia Jordan made the call to 911, saying her brother threatened her with a firearm inside her home. On the scene, officers say Cynthia was detailed, stated her brother was mollied out, had a gun, it was black, maybe a .35 Magnum, pointed it at her and said, "I will kill you." She made these claims several times, all the statements recorded on officers' body cams. Investigators say Jordan ignored officers' calls to leave the home. He's also recorded on body camera video playing sounds of automatic rifle fire and making statements to shoot him. Detective Michella did not provide a sworn statement, but did respond to a question from the state attorney through his lawyer.
On your body-worn camera, you stated gun, gun, and fired one shot from your patrol rifle. What action did Christopher Jordan take to prompt you to believe Jordan posed a threat? On the same date, the attorney provided a response on behalf of Detective Michella. The response stated, Christopher Jordan threatened to shoot, made movements consistent with loading a handgun, and pointed a black handgun in the direction of officers who were not behind cover. This caused me to fear for my life, the lives of other officers and bystanders.
Again, no gun was found in the home. Detective Michelle was found to be justified in his use of deadly force against Christopher Jordan. Amira Fox said there is no further action needed and this case is closed. I'm live outside the state attorney's office. Liz Byro, Wink News.
Right after that press conference, we heard from the president of the Lee County NAACP, James Muwakil. This is what he said about what's happening.
That way, everything that you all based on him being killed for is a lie. I don't care. I mean, so his sister lied. Okay? They all lied. They all lied about the gun, because everything is centered around him having that gun. Okay? That's what it's centered around.
So now to the law enforcement agency behind this. Fort Myers police at the very beginning said Jordan had a gun. They claimed a detective saw that gun. Now we're learning there was no gun found. Wink News reporter Haley Zarconi joins us live. Haley, have Fort Myers police said anything in response to the state attorney's announcement?
Well, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement originally led the investigation of the shooting of Christopher Jordan before it was overturned to the state attorney's office. FMPD says that they're working on getting us a statement within the hour, but for now, they need to review the events of that night now that the criminal investigation is over. Moments ago, I spoke with council member Johnny Streets, and he told me, quote, "My only concern coming from a law enforcement background is that this case should have gone in front of a grand jury." I also spoke with Mayor Anderson just moments ago, and he told me he needs to have confidence in the state attorney's office's investigation, and he does. We'll bring you more updates as we get this throughout the evening. Live at the Fort Myers Police Department, Haley Zarconi, Wink News.
Thanks. And speaking of that, our crews are staying on top of this breaking story right now. Wink News reporter Justin Case is going over the findings from the state attorney's office, and we will bring you more throughout the rest of the evening as we learn more about this investigation.
We have more breaking news right now at 4. Several northbound lanes of I-75 are shut down at Bonita Beach Road due to a crash involving multiple vehicles. And this is a live look there at the interstate where you can see some vehicles are getting by very slowly in the one lane going around this crash site. You see all of those responding vehicles still on the scene, and then you see the backup in the southbound lanes of the interstate. So it is slow going out there. If you have someone who normally comes home and takes this route, you might want to give them a heads up to avoid the interstate for the time being. We'll keep you posted.
Yeah, what a mess as we hit rush hour. Meantime, take a look at this video of wind damage in Immokalee. You can see trees down on a playground and vehicles as well. A piece of fence is gone. And now we're learning that nearly 2,000 people do not have power in Immokalee. Let's send things over to our chief meteorologist, Matt Devitt. Matt, can we expect any more of these high winds this evening?
Well, we just had a severe thunderstorm last hour, and here is the very latest as it is working its way through. Here was that previous severe thunderstorm, and you can see the hail track as it crossed over the interstate, I-75. Yeah, it could have had penny to even nickel-size hail. The very latest on Wink Live Doppler 3X picking up on scattered areas of rain soaking Lely and all the way towards Naples, as well as pop-up thunderstorms near Immokalee and towards the north, and then extending towards Southwest Florida International. As Russ had noted, wind damage in Immokalee, at a minimum, it is currently being investigated. We think of all possibilities here that it could have been a quick spin up and a tornado. What we look at is what's called the velocity signature. Red is wind going in one direction, green is another, and where you see this conflict here, that is where rotation was indicated at 1:15, and we will keep you posted if officially it was a tornado touchdown. Spotty showers and storms will remain possible for this evening. I'll show you that hour by hour just ahead.
More than 24 hours after a person was shot, deputies are looking for the person who pulled the trigger. We brought this to you as breaking news here at 4 yesterday. This happened at the Jim Fleming Ecological Park in Lehigh. We're working to get an update on the person injured. Once we learn more, we'll let you know.
This man is accused of groping a woman while she was walking her dog. Crime Stoppers says that it happened Saturday in a parking lot on North Key Drive in North Fort Myers. If you know anything about that incident, contact Crime Stoppers.
An arsonist on the run. Investigators say more than a dozen fires were set in a short amount of time. This video here from some of the locations that are burned to a crisp. You can see all the brown in the trees. Right now, investigators are working to find out the evidence left behind. They have shared with us some video of a white truck they believe is connected to these fires, and their investigation is ongoing. Well, a Band-Aid to help stop the bleeding of a workforce shortage. This week, Collier County commissioners moved forward with a plan to allow urban estates homeowners to rent guest houses to address a critical shortage of workforce housing. Wink News reporter Michelle Alvarez tells us how commissioners believe this will help long term.
Collier County commissioners moved forward with a plan to allow urban estates homeowners to rent guest houses, pointing to a critical shortage of workforce housing.
It's been a discussion that our board's been having for well over a year, and then we went through the logistics of what our staff has done to be able to get to where we're at now.
There's a bigger conversation that needs to be had amongst the commissioners, and that is infrastructure.
Megan Koba lives in the Golden Gate Estates. She believes this isn't the solution.
We don't want any more traffic. It's not that we don't want growth or we don't want economic success, but we're building and building and building and building. People are moving, moving and moving and moving. But where are the cars going to go?
I talked on the phone with Commissioner Bill McDaniel.
It's also important to remember that we're still an easy 6 months away once the actual GMP, the Growth Management Plan, and LDC Land Development Code amendments are effectuated. They have to go through the DSAC public process.
He said the 4-to-1 vote includes a review after 1 year of the pilot program and only involves homesteaded properties in an area of North Naples.
Currently, if you build a guest house, you're not legally allowed to rent it. So this would then allow for the renting of guest houses in the urban estates west of Collier Boulevard.
He said people living in the rural estates expressed interest, but noted that the infrastructure isn't there yet to support a hefty population increase.
I think the vast majority of the community out here is, we don't care what you do on your property, right? You pay taxes, you do what you want. We live out here, so we don't have to be in an HOA. So we don't have the higher powers that be tell us what we can and cannot do on our property.
Michelle Alvarez, Wink News.
The county plans to research how to deduct the tax percentage of the guest house to preserve the homestead exemption, and they do plan on holding public hearings.
Former President Donald Trump may soon announce a running mate. In an interview with the Milwaukee TV station, Trump said there was a, quote, pretty good chance that the VP pick will be unveiled during July's Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. Trump, who will take part in a CNN debate with President Joe Biden in June, said that he would not have an issue if presidential hopeful Robert F. Kennedy Jr. qualified for the debates. Meantime, Donald Trump's lawyers are pressing his former attorney Michael Cohen today. We'll have the latest on Trump's trial coming up in our next half hour.
And one of the top recruits in the nation is still on the market. Winston Watkins Jr. of First Baptist has a busy summer planned for himself. Coming up, what he's thinking when it comes to where he's going to pad up on Saturday.